How strange.
The garbage truck, which used to travel through that neighborhood every Thursday, came to a halt in front of one of the townhouses. The sanitation worker then got out and stood on the street as if he was expecting something. When she spotted Brooklyn Andrak, a 3-year-old girl, approaching him, she couldn't help but wonder what was going on. This motivated her to record the entire event.
A well-known man.
Delvar Dobson was well known in the community. He had been a sanitation worker in that neighborhood for years. Even though he was a reserved man and a majority of people had never spoken to him, everyone recognized him. A neighbor had the opportunity to get to know Delvar up close one day. The events that followed were recorded on video and have been seen by people worldwide.
He kept to himself.
Bloomington, Illinois was the setting for this story. There are a lot of unspoken things that go on in our communities that we can learn from this story. Delvar Dobson, as previously said, was not a particularly gregarious individual. This, however, does not imply that he was rude. In fact, he appeared to get along well with one family in the area, the Andraks.
What was their relationship?
Each Thursday, Dobson used to greet the Andraks family with his distinctive greeting when the garbage truck rolled through the neighborhood. Honking and waving at the Andraks every time he passed by their house were his routines. The question is, why?
His number one fan.
The answer is straightforward. He had never met them before. Brooklyn, the Andrak's 3-year-old daughter, was a massive admirer of the area's beloved sanitation worker. It was a treat for her to see the enormous truck drive past her house on Thursday mornings, for some unknown reason. And she'd make sure everyone knew about it.
Thursdays were her favorite.
Every time the garbage truck passed, she waited at the window with her mother and waved. That was the highlight of her week. When questioned about the event, her mother, Tracy Andrak, said, "To Brooklyn, he is our favorite, wonderful, cheerful garbage man."
A weekly occurrence.
This continued for a few weeks. Delvar Dobson knew Tracy and Brooklyn Andrak would be expecting him every Thursday morning, peeping out their window to see his arrival. In turn, Brooklyn was relieved to learn that Dobson's truck would be driving past their house and he would be honking and waving at them. However, she will soon get the opportunity to meet him in person.
A step further.
Brooklyn and Tracy started to leave the house every Thursday morning to watch the truck pass by and wave at Dobson from a closer distance. After that, it was all about him, Andrak claimed. It wasn't the trash truck that she wanted to see anymore. It was the garbage man.
Almost perfect.
It was Brooklyn's 4th birthday, and it was a fantastic day. However, it was not without flaws. She was heartbroken over the fact that it was Wednesday. Meeting Dobson as he drove his truck down the block would have improved her day. Brooklyn and Tracy, on the other hand, have devised a strategy to compensate. And it was all witnessed by one of the locals, who didn't think twice about filming it for all to see.
They waited for him.
It was Thursday the following day, which meant that Brooklyn got to see Dobson again. She wanted to make sure that he felt included in her birthday celebration, even if he was not there. Brooklyn and her mother got up early the following day and stood in front of the property with one of Brooklyn's celebration cupcakes. They smiled at Dobson and signaled for him to come over when the truck finally came.
She gifted him a cupcake.
From his truck, Dobson saw Brooklyn and Tracy, and just like every other week, he waved and honked at them. But then he noticed that the mom and her daughter wanted him to stop, and so he did. He walked out of the truck and walked towards Brooklyn and Tracy, and his heart melted when the little girl, with a shy smile, gave him the cupcake while Tracy told him about how it was her birthday yesterday, and they wished he would have been there.
She was ecstatic.
As a mom, I can't even describe how happy it made me that she got to meet him finally, Andrak told the press when she was questioned about the story some days later. She was literally starstruck and could not even say a word. I had to do all the talking for her, and she is never usually short on words.
Best day of her life.
I explained to him that he makes our day every Thursday, and we really appreciate the honking and waving and how special of a day it is for us, she added. After he left, we continued on to daycare. Brooklyn was unusually quiet in the back seat. I asked her if she was okay, and she said, "Mommy, I'm so happy." And the story doesn't end there.
Delvar comes back.
1 week later, Dobson's truck was rolling down the street again. And as usual, Brooklyn and Tracy were waving at him from their yard. But suddenly, Dobson stopped in front of their house and got out of the truck with a box. With a smile, he handed the box to Brooklyn. What could that be? Brooklyn and Tracy couldn't wait to find out as they opened the box, intrigued.
Delvar's gift.
It was full of toys from Brooklyn's favorite movie, Frozen. The little girl couldn't contain her excitement. She and her mom wholeheartedly thanked Dobson, and 1 week later, they had something prepared to thank him. Brooklyn made a big note with the words, "Thank you, Delvar," written on it. Dobson was moved to tears by this gesture, and from then on, he hung the letter on his truck so the whole neighborhood could see it.
Far from over.
In today's fast-paced, social media-driven world, it seems like something new goes viral every day. Sometimes these stories end up that way for the wrong reasons, and in cases like Delvar's and Brooklyn's, because of great reasons. With so many seemingly ordinary people being thrust into the spotlight, many viral stories end up as sensations today and forgotten tomorrow. Delvar Dobson's story wasn't one of these. His story was only just beginning.
He had big dreams.
Before Delvar became a viral sensation, many people did not know he was quietly working his way up in the world. For Delvar, being a garbage man was a job that he took pride in, just as he did with everything else he set his mind to. However, to Delvar, being a garbage man was also a stepping stone. He had other plans, and the time came to make them a reality.
Who was he really?
People who learned of Delvar's story were touched, but probably thought it was a once-off occurrence. As Delvar's fame grew, it soon became apparent that his kindness wasn't an isolated incident. Actually, Delvar had brought great joy to other kids around the neighborhood too, but his life's mission was far from over.
The next step.
Delvar was an avid family man. Sharing a deep connection with his wife, he quietly went about making his dreams come true. Delvar was indeed a unique person, and it shone through in everything he did. After years of working as a garbage man, he could finally start working on his passions and spreading his wings. This started with his plans to launch a new career.
He worked tirelessly.
Millions of people had gotten to know of his kindness and inspirational bond with Brooklyn. Most people didn't realize that in addition to working as a garbage man, Delvar worked tirelessly during his nights too. In fact, he was studying towards a new profession. After all his hard work and dedication, he was finally on the verge of a breakthrough and a life beyond the garbage truck.
The news he was waiting for.
After all his efforts, Delvar was on the cusp of a new life. He waited with bated breath for his results. He had put in so many extra hours after work to achieve his first dream. When the news was finally confirmed, Delvar took to social media to share the wonderful news. He had passed his final examinations and was now a licensed realtor.
The good news kept coming.
Delvar was ecstatic. While he never minded being a garbage man, Delvar had always dreamed of a life beyond it. Being licensed in Nevada, Delvar moved to the city of Henderson to begin his new career. His magnetic personality soon landed him a prestigious position as a realtor with the Realty One team. Delvar knew he was now well on his way to achieving his other dreams too.
His other dreams.
Drawing inspiration from another special person in his life, Delvar also worked on his dream of starting a movement. The other person was his mother, who had taught him how to be the best version of himself he could be. Therefore, helping others bring out the best within themselves was a passion of Delvar's. He was now ready to take that passion to the next level.
The next chapter.
Delvar had always dreamt of sharing his effervescent zest for life with others. To do this, he didn't want to just inspire others. Delvar wanted to be part of a movement that could act as a beacon to others. Delvar envisioned a life as a motivational speaker and leader to help others manifest their full potential. With all the pieces of his life in place, Delvar made it happen.
The movement.
By becoming an influential part of the Aragon 206 movement, Delvar is able to share his journey and inspire others. As someone that champions self-care, fitness, self-love, leadership, and empowerment, Delvar led by example and lived these values. As his influence grows, Delvar does his best to stay grounded. To this, he always makes time to indulge in his first passion.
Back to his roots.
Delvar's fame and support all started when he showed kindness to a little child. He has always loved spending time with kids and continues to do so every chance he gets. In his own words, children have the best hearts. Delvar has undoubtedly come a long way since sharing a cupcake with Brooklyn. Years had passed and Delvar now lived in a different city. So what became of Brooklyn, the little girl that started it all?
Delvar in Brooklyn.
Remarkably, after all the time had passed since that fateful day, Delvar never stopped being friends with the Andrak family. Delvar had also never forgotten Brooklyn, always staying in contact with her and visiting whenever he can. By now, Brooklyn was almost 9 years old and had a younger brother that Delvar has grown just as close to. Delvar often posts about this special bond to this day. Delvar has also continued growing from strength to strength personally.
An inspiration.
Delvar now has an impressive online following. After his fame that all began with Brooklyn, Delvar has genuinely become an inspiration to others and a motivational figure in life. While others might have sought to milk or exploit the fame, Delvar chooses to use the platform his viral story created to better the world around him.
What a ride.
When Delvar first began working in the Andrak's neighborhood, he probably never imagined what an impact this would have on his life and theirs. All these years later, millions of people still view the video that catapulted both of them to viral fame. So much has changed since, but Delvar still often reflects on the special moment he spent with a special little girl that started it all.
Paying it forward.
Delvar's mission in life has been to spread as much kindness and joy as he can. In doing so, he has always hoped to motivate others to follow. His example has become a true beacon of positivity in a world so often marred by nastiness and unkind actions. Delvar's actions show us all that simple acts of kindness can go a long way in changing our circumstances. Therefore, the question remains,